My 20AF husband, 31M of 6 weeks, says he wants to be single. We have been together for 9 wonderful/happy years. Is this salvageable or is this the end? TLDR, I was blindsided by my partner of 9 years who suddenly wants to be single right after getting married. Sorry for how long this will be, but it is such a bizarre and unique situation it requires some context. My partner, 31M, and I, 28F, have been together for almost 9 years. We always had the best relationship, full of love and joy. We had shared visions of the future and a very similar financial and ambitious mindset. We fought here and there, but in those 9 years we never had any major conflict. We both love each other's families and they love us. Everyone always said they were jealous of our relationship because it seemed so effortless, and it was. We got married about 6 weeks ago and everything leading up to that point seemed fine. We had a wonderful wedding day and both read heartfelt vows and cried during the ceremony. I had no reason to believe anything was wrong. About 2 weeks after the wedding we started talking more about the honeymoon, which we planned to take later in the year, and other plans, and he seemed very uneasy with making future plans. Started saying that we shouldn't rush and that we just got married and to take it easy. I didn't understand why, as I wasn't rushing anything, and this was the plan we had both agreed to earlier, to have the honeymoon about 7 months after the wedding. Eventually he told me that the whole marriage thing is freaking him out and he's realizing that maybe it's not something really wanted for himself, that he's feeling weird that we've been together all through our 20s and that I'm the only relationship he has ever had, and he never had enough time to be single. He says he maybe proposed out of societal pressures and because he just felt it's what you were supposed to do. He says I'm perfect and he loves me and he just wishes that we had met 5 years later so he would have had that time be on his own. I said those are all valid feelings, but what are the options here? It's okay to mourn the past, but we are already married. He said he had some doubts before the wedding but felt it was already too late as so many people had money in it and I was so excited about it, didn't want to crush my dreams. In hindsight, we both agreed it would have been better had he mentioned it then. We've now been discussing this for a month, no fights. We just both end up getting very emotional, have tried individual and couples therapy, and I left the house for a couple weeks just to give us both some mental space. We agreed we were still together during that time frame though. When I came back, he ended up asking for a break where we are both single for a few months, then reconvene at an agreed upon date and see where we are. I was completely shocked by this and told him that I don't believe in that. We either figure it out together or we are broken up for good. I asked if there is anything else we can do within the relationship to try to get into a better mental state, and he said he didn't think so. He really feels the only option is for us to not be together right now. I am completely devastated and blindsided by this. I think he's going through some sort of grass is greener syndrome where he's wondering what else is out there and mourning not being single for longer. But if he does end up going on dates and realizing that it's not as good as he thought, I don't want him to think that I will be waiting on the sidelines as a safety net. This may or may not be related. I asked him if there's someone else. He said no, but he has been spending some time with a female friend he met at the gym a couple months ago. They work out together 2-3x week, which I don't usually have a problem with. He's a big gym guy and very social and has had other female workout buddies before with no issues. However, he has also started spending time with her after the workout, grabbing a coffee or a meal together, and being shifty about it with me. This is new for him. While I don't think anything physical has happened, I definitely think there is some emotional cheating there, and I wonder if this has impacted his thoughts at all. He swears she has nothing to do with the way he's been feeling and that he's been feeling this way for a while, which I do believe, but maybe this has intensified his feelings. He still tells me he loves me every day and is very affectionate with me. He is also apologetic about the way he feels, saying he wishes he didn't feel this way, and he realizes how unfair it is to me. I cannot imagine giving up 9 years of history together, especially when we just had such a beautiful wedding that everyone was so excited to be a part of. But the way he has acted for the last month is so unlike him, doesn't seem at all like the person I have been with all these years. Is this salvageable at all? Also, if anyone has similar stories at all, please share. My boyfriend, 26M, burned my 23F book. What do I do? I have had to rewrite this multiple different times now as I keep breaking down. I don't know what to do and I am completely lost. So apologies for any spelling errors or mistakes as I'm not in the best place mentally. Note that all names are fake so that he doesn't find this hopefully. Now a little backstory. I promise it will make sense. 9 years ago, I met my boyfriend, Adrian. I was in 9th grade and he was in 11th. He had moved in next door, and because we were too close for buses but too far to walk, he offered to drive me every day. Even after graduating, he drove me. We got really close and he became my best friend. We started dating 5 years ago. At that time, I began writing my first story, and Adrian's mom, as an author herself, began helping me. Together we wrote, edited, and got my book ready to publish. Then in 2019, she passed away unexpectedly. Everyone was distraught and I decided not to publish the book. Instead, I pushed myself more into work, working 16-hour days. And up until a year ago, I continued to do this. Adrian and I bought a little duplex and moved into together we rented the other half of it to a friend of his. Now, I've been getting into writing again and have cut back to working 12 hours a day. Over the course of the last decade, I've been buying books. I've spent a good $3,000 on books and have like 175 OV bought myself at this point. I have another 50 that I got from his mom before she passed and also left in the will for me, and then a handful from friends over the years. Last time I went through them, I had 300 books. Now I know this might seem intense, but I have read almost every single one of these. Whenever I get a chance at work, when I have a day off, when I can't sleep, I read. Reading is the way I cope, I guess. Adrian knows how important my books are. He knows how much time, money, and energy I've put into getting them all and keeping them looking good. He himself has read a good bit of them and helps me take care of them. Last week we got into an argument. I don't remember what it was about, just that it lasted from the time I get off until almost noon, so at the least it lasted 7 hours. Most of it was him screaming at me. I don't know if I fell asleep or what, but I genuinely don't remember any of it. However, it did end with him storming out of the house and leaving. I spent the rest of the day in a haze, and immediately I went to the spare room and started reading. It wasn't until he came in an hour before I had to leave for work that I stopped reading. When I got off work the next morning, I immediately went home, took a shower, and fell asleep. I woke up to the fire alarm going off and my husband frantically running around trying to get them to stop. Immediately I went into the spare room to see if everything was okay. My books, specifically the shelf that had been gifted to me, were smoking. Some of them were on the floor. I asked him what had happened, and apparently he was playing with this new flame torch lighter when it caught one of my books on fire. It was on the top shelf, so while it wasn't too bad, and he was able to get them out, there was a few books, the ones he threw on the floor. I asked him what book caught on fire, and he didn't respond. Instead, he just teared up and pointed. On the ground was the book his mom and I wrote together. I lost it. I asked him to leave, and when he tried to refuse, I threatened to call the police. It took 5 minutes of us arguing before I burst into tears and he finally left. It's been almost a week now. I haven't responded to him at all. I changed the locks on the house and even informed his friends that if they let him into my part of the house, I'd have all of them arrested. Last night, his father called me. We talked, and while he said that he understood why I was hurt, he thought I should let Adrian come back and try to fix it. I don't know if I can though. I don't know if I can trust him. I don't know what to do, and I just need advice. Edit to clear up confusion. No, we are not actually married. I never have and never will want to be married. We agreed we never wanted to get married. However, we are considered to be in a common law marriage because of how long we've been together. The book he burned wasn't an actual book, not a professional one anyways. It was in a notebook that his mom and I were writing in. When I first wrote it, I wasn't allowed electronics and didn't get my first smartphone until I was 18, so it was just written in a notebook. Thank you all for the advice. I'm calling him his dad and my older brother tomorrow to meet for dinner. If it goes well, then it goes well. Hopefully I won't have to do any more updates or edits.